Welcome back to Sport Lab, your home for world-class football coverage. Today, we're breaking down Chelsea's massive 3-1 win over newly crowned champions Liverpool, a result that turbocharges the Blues' push for Champions League football next season. Let's get straight into it.
So we've had 9 of our 10 weekend fixtures. We've had wins for City, for Villa, for Leicester, for Bournemouth, for the first time in their history at Arsenal, for Brentford, 3 in a row, beating Manchester United's youngest ever starting 11 in the Premier League. 2 1-1 draws as well today, but it could be a crucial point for Newcastle, having been 1 down at Brighton, courtesy of an 89th minute penalty from Alexander Isak. 3 goals, 3 points for Chelsea against the champions, winning at Stamford Bridge, and a huge game for Nottingham Forest away at the FA Cup finalist Crystal Palace in the Monday Night Football that is, of course, followed by the final word. So Fulham now slip into the bottom half, but still in the running for that 8th position, which could yet be European football as well. West Ham didn't go above Spurs in the table today. A victory would have taken them there, 1-1 between those two in East London. But this is really interesting now. Arsenal in second, just 3 clear of the champions Manchester City, who are 1 ahead of Newcastle and Chelsea, who are locked on 63 points and the same goal difference, but Newcastle have scored more goals. Forest will also have 63 with 3 left to play if they win at Palace in the Monday Night Football, and they'll go 3 clear of Villa. So 8th could be European football. That's currently occupied by Bournemouth, who are just a point ahead of Brentford and Brighton. All the reactions still to come. It was always going to be more significant for the blue of Chelsea today. They've turned up 3 goals, 3 points, and it feels hugely significant. Chelsea knew they had to step up, and for the first time in 7 years, they've beaten Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. 3 goals, 3 huge points in their quest to return to the Champions League for next season. And even better news, after 18 games without a goal, their star man was back on the score sheet late on as well. How significant does that feel for Chelsea in terms of the Champions League, Glenn?
Very, I've got to say, you know, they had that, they saw Newcastle drop points, so they said, right, we've got to get out and do our business. Cut away from Liverpool, they're champions, and whether they play at their very best or whatever team they get out there to be professional. And they did. I felt they were going to be motivated. They came out of the traps really quick and hit Liverpool early, and it was the best thing that could have happened for them. I thought there were some really good individual performances from Chelsea, Palmer being the top one, but Cucurella defensively didn't see Salah today, really, at all. Done his job. Salah really doesn't defend that much, but he didn't go and attack Cucurella. It was like one-on-one, take him out of the game, did the job. Caicedo did very, very well on the other side, right back, and then went into midfield, releases Fernández, and you see him, Fernández, arriving in the box quite a lot, gets his goal. So tactically, Chelsea today, it was all spot on, and they got it right, and they thoroughly deserved the win. But the fact that Palmer, the talisman, really, who's been so brilliant since he's been at Chelsea, has had this lean spell. For him to get on the score sheet and play, like we said before the show, before the game, let him play. He's best when he's just playing free, and today he had that position where he could, because Caicedo goes into midfield, it releases him even more. So he found himself in lots of times and space, and wow, if you're going to give him time and space, he will hurt you, and he did today. He hurt Liverpool a lot.
And with the run he's been on, 18 games, as we mentioned, without a goal involvement, it would bother some players, but his body language, he doesn't look like he gets bothered in any way, shape or form, Cole Palmer.
He doesn't, but internally he would be a bit
He wouldn't show it, would he?
No, he wouldn't really show it, but I mean, Glenn makes the right point, because we've all been there. We've all had lean spells. We've all either not scored, or if you're a defender, you're conceding all the time, or making mistakes, or whatever position you play. You do something. When things go wrong, you start thinking about things. Why am I not playing? Why am I not scoring now? What have I done? And you start thinking, shall I get closer to the goal? Will it give me a better chance of scoring if I do this, this and this? And as soon as you start becoming a thinking player, you've not got that natural magician-like things that Cole Palmer has got. And he has got to go out there and almost... He's better when he's not bothered. when he is what he seems. You know, when he's just lackadaisical, you know, just looks like it's a park game. And I think that's what he started looking like again today. Don't tie him down to rules, don't put him in positions or say you've got to be here at this point. Let him play, because that's when he creates magic. And yeah, and I think if there's anybody, like, don't get me wrong, certain defenders, when the ball's there, you have to be here. That's just, you know, certain. But for someone like Cole Palmer, that's a bit of a free spirit, he doesn't want to be tied down to anything. And Glenn hit the nail on the head before the game. You know, he looks like, before today, he looked like he was thinking about it. And when he thinks, you know, it's not a good sign. So, yeah, he was back to his best.
I think the thing with a player like Palmer is that when you're not playing at your best, things start to get like a wall, and they start to enclose in you and within your mind. And then it gets worse, and then he's gone all them games without scoring. Now he's broke the seal, what I call breaking the seal in this game. That can be done in one game. All that build-up of many, many games are out the window now. It's just one game that takes a creative player to really say, I'm back to my best. So it's come at a great time for him. They're in a semi-final of a conference if he plays. And obviously they're playing Newcastle next, who's the biggest rival for them for the top 5. So it's a wonderful time for him just to go. He'll forget about all that now. That's out the window. That's gone. That's down the road. It's now, wow, I enjoyed that. I'm back to my best. Can't wait to get out and play again.
What he's got to do, though, Glenn, as well, he's still only reasonably young. What he's got to probably do is learn from this and not feel that enclosed. In future, he can't let it go to 17 games. You know, there are easy wins. When you get experience, there are easy wins that actually get you out of these ruts far, far quicker than an inexperienced player. There's simple things that you can do to make yourself feel better again. And I think he might look back on this run and think, do you know what? What took me so long? There's nothing different here. And next time it might be 4 or 5 games of not Cole Palmer play.
There's a great point you make there. And with my experience now, I've been a player for so many years and the manager, is that that happens and you wait for that to come alive. Now, it's took a long, long time for him to happen. Too long. Now, there's 2 ways of doing that. You're waiting and waiting for that game or a striker, that goal, when there's a little bit of a lean spell. But that's why sports psychologists in the games today can shortcut that. I don't know if he's worked with a sports psychologist there or not, but you could have put that right way back if he'd have gone and sat and spoke to him and started... Because everything comes from your mind first. It's your intention first. You don't just go out and play. Your mentality and how you think and how you feel is even more important than how you think. So that could be put back in very, very quickly. Particularly strikers, for instance. If a striker misses an open goal and they go in, they say, sorry, lads, let you down. They say, you're right on the Monday morning. You go, yeah, I'm fine, Gaffer, I'm fine. You wouldn't tell them that you're not. It's playing in there. It's in the subconscious. Now, that can come out with a sports psychologist. That's why you have them. Because mentally, the game's played in your mind first. That's the first port of call for any player. And I think he will learn from that. And the experience of it now, I put it right last time. It took me a long time. But that's why sports psychologists are so important in sport, not just football.
Interesting. OK, high time we got some Chelsea reaction. Moises Caicedo is alongside Cole Palmer.
So even before the goal today, you must have felt like you'd really helped your team. You looked like you enjoyed it. You had a big influence on the game.
No, yeah, today I felt like myself. I have been before the recent times. I felt confident. I was trying things, first time passes, playing forward, not just playing free. And when you got him next to you, it's a dream, really.
Good one. I mean, it's you guys in attacking areas that get a lot of the credit. How good is he?
Wow, machine. Obviously, from the start of the season to now, I think he's been our best player. Yeah, he's a machine. Wins everything back. Always 100% every day. Humble, nice to everyone, and yeah, everyone loves him.
Yeah. Do you want to repay the compliment, Moises? Because this guy, good players have tough moments, and Cole's maybe had one, but there's no doubt in the quality, is there?
No, Cole, he's an amazing guy. Always trying hard also. Yeah, I'm so happy for him. He helped us a lot, even when he didn't score. He helped us. Yeah, he's a great guy, and he deserves everything.
OK, so Cole Palmer back in the goals, also player of the match, but I'm not sure you actually agree with that. do you?
But, I mean, I'll take it.
I thought you were handing it over to Moyes. No, Cole Palmer is the player of the match. Well played.
Congrats, bro.
Well done, guys. Well done.
Thank
you. He's got personality. He's 23 this week, actually. And he's a sort of a character that would rub off in a positive way on his teammates, Glenn.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, he looks like pretty... Like we're saying, as a player, when he's at his best, doesn't care too much, doesn't think too much about it, you know. It's, well, I didn't think I played, you know, player of the match. I think there was better players out there. He's pretty humble as well. Let's hope he doesn't change. The key for him is not to change. That's the thing. Go back to... Analyse how he's played today compared and how he's felt inside and how he's played today compared to the last run that he's had, and keep that. Keep it. And keep it for the rest of his career. Then when, as Michael said, when he goes through these little runs again, he might get injured, come back 3 weeks later and say, right, I've done it before, I can do it again now. And that's where you have to think about the game, to be consistent and play year after year after year. But he's a special talent. I just hope he doesn't start really thinking about the game until he's 30, if you like, and then he can hand it all on to somebody else during a game and give him their experience, because he's a kid. Hopefully he'll play for England like that as well, you know, and just feel as if a manager's job then is to say, look, I really, really rate you. You can have 4 bad games and you're still going to play the 5th game. If you tell him that and he can relax and go and play, we'll get the best out of him.
Let's have a closer look then, Michael. Why was he more like his old self today with the Man of the Match award?
Well, we've mentioned a couple of his attributes that are just natural. I mean, you can't teach that, for example. You're trying to find space, you're working outside, going further and further wide to get a bit of space, and you realise, you know what, if I get the ball now, I'm going to be, you know, a couple of yards away from the side of the pitch at best. And he turns, he spins, he finds space inside. I mean, some of these balls, like that one there, there was one later in the game. I mean, he's seeing pictures before anybody else does, before he even gets the ball. And I just think we've already spoken about him just being free. In this day and age, look at this, eyes in the back of your head.
Beautiful.
I mean, how many players on that pitch could have played that ball? Not too many, and we're talking about the very elite players here. But I just think as well that in this day and age, when everything's about data, everything's about, you know, precise, you know, how far do you run, how many touches do you have, where do you have them, what do you need to do, what's the best, you know, area to score goals, all of these things you can get fed and fed and fed information. But I think if you fed him all this information, he wouldn't be half the player he is. He just needs to feel it, is to sense it, and just to wander into areas that he believes, and he gets a, you know, just the feel, let's say. Instinct is probably the word I'm looking for. Nobody could teach me where to stand. When there's a ball about to drop into... Like, I don't care how many managers or how many... No one can
did anyone try?
That. No one can teach you that. No one can teach him to smell a little area of danger. If I stand in here, if I move into there, that's just uncoachable. So a lot of the things that he'll be getting fed, they probably apply to the rest of the team. If I was him, I'd take little notice of it, because he needs to be that free spirit. And there's very, very few. There used to be a lot, Glenn, I feel, in the game.
Yeah.
That type of player is getting phased out a little bit now.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing to see him actually be...
And great to see him back at his best, you know. And that's the thing, he can pick a pass from 60, 70 yards, and then he can take people on, drop his shoulder and get the other side of players. But he's got both, you know. He can take 5 or 6 players out with one pass. He can go past 3 or 4 players. And if you go past a player, then you're drawing another player out, and there's space for someone else instantly on the football pitch. But I think today, Liverpool weren't quite at it, let's be fair, but that's not Palmer's fault. That's not Cole's problem. He's eating up all the space in the world, and he's going to hurt you with that sort of space. More importantly for the manager and for Chelsea Football Club at the moment, is he's now back to his best right at the time they need him. OK, they've not been so consistent this year, but they've found themselves now right in the race for this, you know, this Champions League, and they've got their talisman, their best player, without a doubt, just now turned the corner, and they're playing Newcastle next. Wow, what a performance he's going to be looking forward to.
On that, you're right, he is their best player. You say he's their talisman. In this barren run, there's been suggestions that he needs a little bit more help from those around him, that Chelsea put him under too much pressure, they're too reliant on Cole Palmer. So moving forward, can they add a little bit more top quality in that team so he doesn't carry so much on his own shoulders?
Well, they can, and if they want to go to the very top, which is, I'm sure, what they want to do, what they've been used to over recent years, then of course the whole team needs to lift their levels. But I've always been sceptical in terms of when people say, "Well, how did you carry that pressure? I can guarantee you he doesn't feel pressure. Did you feel pressure playing? I didn't feel pressure playing. No, that's what you're good at. That's what you want to be.
What about they're too reliant on him?
Even better. Even better. I felt 8 foot, and I'm only half of that before you say it. If I go out onto the pitch and I feel that my teammates are thinking, we need you today, if I sense that, then that makes me feel even better. I feel as if I'm going onto the pitch, as if I can't fail. It's not pressure, it's a responsibility. It's great to feel like you're needed in a certain way. No matter what job you do, there'll be millions of people out here watching. Whatever you do in your industry, isn't it great to go into your office or your factory or you're onto the football pitch or wherever it is and feel as if what you do is actually special and that not many people can do it and that everybody looks at you and thinks, do you know what? We need you on our team, whatever role that is, and it takes a lot of people to piece into a team. So, no, I don't believe that at all in terms of feeling too much pressure or responsibility. I think that helps you grow. But in terms of the whole team, it's the manager's job to get better players in to
well, I was going to say, that's the selfish striker's playing point of view. What if you are the manager? You don't want to be too reliant on one singular player, do you, in a group like that?
No, but you want a special player, and he is a special player. And as a manager, you're saying, I want him on the ball.
Because you want better players around him.
Well, yeah, anyone would want... You want to be the... You know, Zidane was a wonderful, special player, but he also had some fantastic players around him. Of course, every manager, every club, every player... Palmer would want that. If he could get a striker that he knew that would make them runs that Jackson makes, but he could finish every single one of them...
He'd look even better.
Oh, he'd look even better. The assists would go up even more. But the thing is, as a manager, you say, I want him on the ball. So you say to Caicedo, you say to whoever's playing that day, feed him. Feed him. Keep giving him the ball. Particularly now, he's turned the corner with this one game. Just give him the ball, you know, because he will make things happen for us as a team, and you as an individual want to be successful. Keep feeding him. Feed the bear. Because you just want him to have more touches than any... We saw his touch map there. And... he had, equal anyone else on the pitch in the penalty area, but you saw where else he was picking the ball up. That's what they want to do. Even when he's playing poorly, even if he's one of them players, if he's not having the best of games, he's got that little bit of inspiration, that moment, that pass, that little bit of top corner bang, it's in the back of the net. He comes off the pitch, he didn't think he played that great today, did he? He didn't think he was player of the game.
I mean, Michael and I covered the game where he scored 4 in the first half.
Yeah.
Premier League history. We spoke to him afterwards and he said, I was just fuming I didn't get 6. Didn't he?
With a straight face.
With a straight face, genuine straight face.
That's great, that's brilliant. I mean, you just keep pushing yourself. But he inspires other people, not by his talking and his actions with his feet and with his mind, football brain. And that's what you want in any team. And I think, looking at the international thing, I think, you know, I just hope Tuchel's watched that performance and thinking, wow, we've got some player.
Would you like to have managed Cole Palmer?
Oh, I think anyone would. Any manager would want a player like that in his team. You know, he was up there, as Michael said, as less and less of them players. We got a glut of them that have got ability, actually, with England. When you think about it, with Bellingham, different style, but Foden, and, you know, there's a lot of creative players, but I think this kid now, with what he's done, coming from City so quickly, when Chelsea were having a struggling time, he just elevated them. Now, to do that at a young age and move from up north down to south in London, and a big club that the owners want to be winning the league, they want to be in the Champions League, it's water off a duck's back with him. He just naturally goes and plays, like we're saying, and he's elevated Chelsea unbelievably, and he'll do it. I think he's timed his run into the box, if you like, the way he's performed today. Next, they've got 3 games left, is it? So, wow, it's a good time for him to be at his best. And
a potential European Cup final. Do you think, on Glenn's point, do you think there's an element sometimes still at City? There are figures where they go, we'd love to see him in our team now under Pep Guardiola, particularly as he's having to rebuild
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's incredible to think, isn't it, that Manchester City let him go now. I mean, they were awash with amazing players and he wasn't going to get much of a game at that age. But I think even Pep Guardiola would be surprised at how...
They wouldn't have envisaged this, would they?
No, he would be surprised at how he's gone on and taken that responsibility and done so well. Because he really is one of the elite players, and it feels like it's been a few months since we've been saying that, which is incredible, really. But he is still young, and I do hope that, we touched on it before, I do hope that he looks back at this run. Now he feels he'll go home tonight feeling $1 million again and can't wait for the next game. But I do hope he understands, you know, his game and understands how easy it is to not let a run like this get to 17, 18 games before you're feeling back to your best again. That can be nipped in the bud early. With experience, with the right people around him. It should never happen again. He's too good to go 3 or 4 games without having a big contribution to a game. And I believe that, you know, that 17-game run or 18-game run will never happen again.
I think the move was right for him from City, and clubs do let little jewels go. Let's look at Chelsea. Salah was at Chelsea. De Bruyne was at Chelsea. Yeah. You know, when they're younger, it's you know, you can't judge a player 100% when I don't care who they are, even if it's the best player in the world, he ends up. But there's a lot of hurdles that they have to go through, whether it's coming back from an injury, dealing with stuff off the pitch that's going to affect you on the pitch, you know, bad form, a little bit of bad form, showing the character, the team that you're playing. There's a multitude of things, and he's coming through that slowly but surely. He's nowhere near his peak yet, which is frightening.
Let's talk to one of his teammates who helped get the 3 points today. Levi Colwill is waiting to talk to us live at Stamford Bridge. Levi, good to see you. Well done. How significant a win over the champions does that feel for you today?
Yeah, definitely. It's a very big 3 points for us. We've got to treat every game like it's a final, and I think that's what we've done today. And now we've got to move on to the next game.
You had that long huddle before the whistle. We thought you were starting with intent. What a dream start as well, inside 3 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great start, you know, start the way you want to go on. I think we've done that today. We created a lot of chances in the first half and the second, and I think we played very well today.
We were just having a conversation there about Cole and the effect that he has on the whole group and his teammates. And to see him play to the standards again today, what's it like being in a team with Cole Palmer?
He saves us a lot, I tell you that. Even, you know, everyone looks at his goals and assists, but he doesn't provide goals and assists. He still does so much for the team. I think we all wanted that goal to go in, not just to secure the game, but also for his confidence. He deserves it because he's been an amazing player for us, and, you know, every game when he walks out, he's been the best player on the pitch, and, yeah, I'm so happy for him.
Levi, it's Michael Owen. You've got a run now to the end of the season, but obviously big points today, with a potential cup final in Europe and then 3 tough games in the Champions League. Would a trophy like the Conference League and Champions League qualification be a really good, solid season for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, personally for me, that'd be a really good season for us, you know. Playing in the European competition, the Conference League, if we win that, you know, that's one challenge that's been put in front of us that we've succeeded. And then to get Champions League football back for the fans, that's what everyone wants in the changing room.
Levi, Glenn Hoddle here. Congratulations on your performance and the result today. Levi, just a quick question on your position now. Are you pleased to be defending in a back 4, but then in a back 3 when you have possession? I think it suits you, yeah? Yeah, definitely. You know, in a back 4, when I've got Trevor and Cuckoo next to me, they do most of the hard work, to be honest. I'm just trying to help dictate them a bit more. And when I go into the 3 and I'm in the middle, it's also similar, you know, just give the ball. If I need to up the tempo, do it. If I need to slow it down, just more provide for the team. I think I've been trying to change my game recently, instead of trying to look amazing and break lines and things like this. Just try and help the team and organise it from the back. And I think it's been helping us a lot and also helping me.
And in terms of the 3 games remaining, I mean, a couple of them look huge. I know you're going to take one at a time, but you play Newcastle and Forest, who are either side of you in the Premier League table at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think that's the best way it can be, you know, because instead of us hoping for results, you know, we play them, we face them, and if we beat them, we get the 3 points. Like I said, it's a final. Every game's a final from now on, and that's what we're all thinking in there.
Yeah, it's the business end of the season final, isn't it? It's what you want to be involved in with players with so much to play for.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we all live for, you know. There'll be a lot more pressure, but when you win, or if we win, it'll be worth it.
Absolutely. Well played today. Thanks so much, for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
That is Levi Colwill live at Stamford Bridge for you after Chelsea beat Liverpool, the reigning Premier League champions, by 3-1. Here is the Chelsea boss, Enzo Fernández.
Well, Enzo, with a big prize at stake in terms of Champions League football, how important are 3 points was that?
Very important, especially at this stage of the season. You know, at the end of the season, you need to win games, and against this team that, for me, once again, they show the reason why they are so good. They won the Premier League. They force us to defend deep, something that we don't like, something that we don't plan. But because they are good, sometimes you have to do that, and the players, they deal very well.
So I was going to ask, that was going to be my next question anyway, like, how did you do it today? I wondered if it was deliberate to sort of soak up a bit of pressure and attack quickly, but it sounds like not.
No, we plan the game, trying to be always aggressive in the opposite side, playing the way we want, but sometimes the opposite is there, and they force you to, with a different plan. So I think we adapt quite well. The player deal with that very good. And at the end, I think for the amount of chances that we create, we deserve to win the game.
Do you think you were able to give them big problems with Cole Palmer's position? He was massively influential in every single goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Cole, he will be better and better. This kind of moment in his journey in the future will be for sure better and better player.
Did he look like his old self today again, Cole?
I think it was good for Cole. It was good for even for Nico score again, for all of them.
Do you think we saw it's easy to look at it and think you got Liverpool at a good time? They just won the league, but do you think we saw a very good Liverpool team? You beat Liverpool at something close to their best, maybe.
I said already, we didn't plan the game to wait and to defend deep, but because they are so good, they have quality, they are aggressive, they are strong. They are quality player, so they force us to defend deep, and they show how good they are. So for me, once again today, they show the reason why they won the Premier League is because they are top side.
So how impressed are you with your players in the last few weeks, actually? Because it looked a bit, maybe just from the outside, but it looked like it might be slipping away. 1-0 down at Fulham, you won that game, you won again last week, and you've beaten the champions today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm very impressed with the players since we start, to be honest, because it's not easy to since day one to try to play in different way, to try to be aggressive, go man to man, no matter what. They are doing very good. Now from outside, I can understand that if we finish top 5, everyone is thinking that they have done fantastic. In case they are not doing that well, but for me, I'm impressed with all of them.
I know this is something you've been asked again and again, but do you think it is vitally important that you get top 5? I know you sort of said it's been a good season anyway, but maybe just with the recent history and the culture of this club, it's a club that wins. So to finish outside the Champions League feels like it would be a bigger disappointment for you than it would be for some of the other clubs around you.
For sure, Chelsea has to fight for Champions League, and hopefully in the future we can fight for something more important. In this moment we are there, and hopefully we can finish there.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Enzo.
Yeah, 3 big games to go to do that. Let's go back to Stamford Bridge. Our good friend Glenn Johnson, of course, former Chelsea and Liverpool player, has been watching closely. Good to see you, Glenn. And what did you make of Chelsea there today, close up?
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant, to be honest. I think from the start, that was on the front foot. Obviously, you know, if you're going to play the champions, this is the time to do it when, you know, they've ticked their objectives off. But to be honest, I think there was probably 6 or 7 proper individual performances that won their battles and set them up from early on. And obviously Cole Palmer was one of them, Cucurella. I think some of them are fantastic and they thoroughly deserve the win.
You mentioned Cole Palmer there. You played against some great individual players in your time, but when he's on it like that, back to his best, he's a defender's nightmare, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. You know, he's a proper footballer. You know, he reads the game so well. He's a lot quicker than people give him credit for, but he just reads the game. You know, he lets people run around him, that creates himself some space. You know, sometimes the best movement is standing still, and he just seems to, you know, today he looked like he wanted to get on the ball at every moment, and the individual performances around him, I think, helped him get back to his best and put in a performance like that.
And in terms of Chelsea now, 3 huge league games. If they don't get to the Champions League, how damaging is that in terms of moving forward and recruitment and getting players in as well?
Yeah, well, like you say, you know, they're on the cusp of having the best season, and you know, something that they would have bit your arm off for this opportunity at the start of the year or the start of the season. So they've got a big couple of weeks now that, you know, if they can nail the top 4 and, you know, maybe get the trophy as well, then it'd be a fantastic year. But a lot can change in football very quick. But for me, if they put in performances like that, then I think they're going to be fine.
John O, Michael Owen, just turning your attention to the other team that you play for in terms of Liverpool. Full-back situation, obviously you played in that position. Looking like Trent will go to Real Madrid, might be, Conor Bradley, he played part of the game today. And, of course, on the left-hand side as well, who knows what will happen. But just what's your take on the full-back situation at the moment?
Like you say, this is all up in the air, isn't it? I think Trent, the door might be open for him there, but I think Conor Bradley, I think that's less of a problem with Conor coming on. Even today, he come on and looked sharp straight away, and he was a threat. Almost created 2 chances in the first few minutes of him, coming into the pitch. So I think he could be a massive player for Liverpool. I think today Tsimikas really struggled. It weren't his best game, but there's a lot of Liverpool performances that are a bit under par by their standards. And like I say, that's probably because they've done the job, they've lifted a trophy, and maybe they're just a lapse of concentration. But I definitely think they need to sort out the left back side more than the right.
And just finally, Glenn, how much do you think they need to do in the transfer market as champions for freshening up next season?
Yeah, you've always got to stay in front of the game. Obviously they are champions and literally the best team in the league, but obviously you can't just dwell on that. They need to do some good dealing, get some players in that are going to improve them for next season, because you can't rest on your laurels. You've got to stay in front of all these other opponents that are trying to chase you down.
Glenn, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers,
for
guys.
That is Glenn Johnson at Stamford Bridge. He was talking about one of his former clubs, Liverpool, there. When we come back, we will hear from Art. Very different feeling, of course, to a week ago. It was always going to be different today. It ended up being the heaviest defeat under him in the Premier League, but it didn't matter in terms of the points. The silverware was secured. But we'll see what he thought about it all when we come back next. So on this Premier League Sunday, we saw Spurs and West Ham play out a 1-1 draw. That goal, his first Premier League one for Spurs, from Wilson Odegaard, giving Ange Postecoglou's side the lead. But Jarrod Bowen, the West Ham skipper, forcing one home, getting him into double figures for the season. A point apiece between those two in the end. Brentford have won 3 league games in a row for the first time since November 2023. 2 for Kevin Schade against the Manchester United side, fielding their youngest ever starting 11 in the Premier League, and Brentford still. So too are Bright's changes. Let's see what he thought about it. Here is Arne Slot.
Well, Arne, in terms of the big picture, I guess it doesn't matter, but no one likes to lose. Especially champion teams don't like to lose. So what did you make of that?
No, a wise man once said nothing good comes from losing a football game, and I have to agree with him. But the way we lost is more positive, I think. I saw a team that was playing against a very good Chelsea team, a very good squad, so many individually, so many good players, so well organised. But we were able to have here at Stamford Bridge 65% ball possession, played so many times through them. But yeah, maybe we missed just that little bit, which we usually have. So normally we're also able to find the free player, but the last percentages in attack and defence we maybe missed today to get a result.
So what cost you that few percent? Is that, even with the players out there meaning to give their all, trying to give their all, there's just a difference between wanting to win and needing to win, and today you didn't need to win?
Yeah, that is true. But if you look at how we reacted after being 2-0 down, that probably tells you why we won this league, because they never give up, even if they've already won the league and they're 2-0 down at Stamford Bridge against such a good team. We don't give up. Our fans don't give up as well.
They look like they thoroughly enjoyed their day, to be honest.
Yeah, they were loud again. So, yeah, we slipped twice in the lead up to both Chelsea goals. And, of course, the third one was so far an extra time that, yeah, it's a goal, but it didn't matter that much anymore. But, playing against a good team like Chelsea, yeah, you can't afford a lot. And that's what we saw today.
With one eye on the future, giving game time to players who haven't had so much game time, what did you learn today?
I think a few things I've already knew, but it's always good to see some of them playing now together with 4, 5 or 6 starters. So a few of them have come in many times, but to start, most of them started against Plymouth away, PSV Eindhoven away. And now to see them playing with the other ones gives you not new insights, but does give you insights.
Is it overstating it? Maybe you think this is over the top, but some of those guys who come into the team, are they playing for their Liverpool futures a bit? They obviously want more minutes next season, and they only have these few games to convince you they deserve those minutes.
No, the last thing, that's what it's about. They deserve to play these games because they've trained so hard during the whole season. So many times a day after the match where the other ones played, and everyone was so positive about them, and they had to come to the AXA again to train. And every time they did so well. So that's why I think that they deserved to play this game. But it's not the first time that I saw them play. They've come in many times. They've played the Plymouth and the PSV and some other games as well. Accrington, Stanley, and can't come up Brighton away for the League Cup. So we don't judge them only on this. We judge them every single day on the training ground and the moments they play for us.
It seems a bit odd almost to say this to a team that's just won the league, but does it feel like there's a big summer ahead in terms of adding to this squad, changing the squad? I did an interview with you on Friday where you were talking about you already spoke to maybe a few players trying to sell them the Liverpool dream.
No, it's already a big summer because we extended Virgil and Mo, and for large parts of the season I don't think everybody expected that. So so for us to keep them is already a big thing, and yeah, we will see what the summer will bring. But I've said many times I'm really happy with the squad we are having. But it is also true that's the second year in a row these players are together, and sometimes can be good to bring some fresh energy as well. But last year we decided just to keep them all. So we will just see what we will do. But it's already been a big summer because we won the league and we kept Virgil and Mo.
And nothing better, I guess, than adding to a winning team. Kind of strike while the iron's hot, I think is the phrase.
Yeah, but only if we see a chance in the market, or if we can see someone who can improve us. And it's not so easy to improve this team because it's already a team that won the Premier League, that was so good against Paris Saint-Germain at home, where unfortunately we lost that on penalties.
Thank you, Arne.
You're welcome.
It's interesting because we were having a little chat over a cup of tea earlier on about this, weren't we?
Told you.
What?
What he said. It's hard. You know, these people have got this idea that, oh yeah, go and get 4 players and spend a fortune and like, go on, where? Right back, you probably don't have to. You know, a young kid that you've brought through for a long period of time, if Trent goes, that is. Left back, I think Liverpool are going to invest. So Kirkes, everybody's talking about at Bournemouth. So yeah, there's 50, 60 million that Liverpool are going to invest. They might go and get a central defender, but it's not going to be 50, 100 million to spend on that. No way are they going to spend 50, 100 million to sit behind Virgil van Dijk on the bench all season. So that's only cover. You can get a free transfer. Everyone wants to come to Liverpool. So straight away, you only have to spend big money on your left back. You might want cover at right back if Trent goes. But again, you don't need to spend massive money. I think Conor Bradley deserves a chance, so you're not going to be spending big there. If Darwin Núñez leaves, maybe Jota. You could argue that they'll get an attacking player to replace Darwin Núñez. So you might have to spend decent money there. But that's two positions, left back and centre forward. And then all you need is cover at right back. They've already brought a goalkeeper in, and Kelleher is probably going to leave. So there's another 30, 40 million that they're going to be bringing in. So what I'm saying is that everybody that think, oh yeah, go and change 5, 6 players and strike while the iron's hot, go and buy loads of players. It just doesn't happen. Like, nobody will come to... No top player that's worth 100 million is going to come to sit on the bench. And nobody's better than Virgil van Dijk and Konate, really. So they're not going to buy a centre-half that's worth a fortune.
Ben's not having that.
Unless Konate doesn't sign. He's got a year left, but they will know that.
Would you, and he's fit now, and I hope he doesn't go because he's at my club, Van der Ven.
Oh, if you could, yeah.
Yeah. So if it was going to pay for him, you'd have to pay money for him. But him and them, those two Dutch together. Now, I don't want that to happen.
Model sells his own centre-back shocker.
Yeah. But I'm just giving an example that there's players in there that could still go in above the players that are there at the moment. You're going to have to spend money.
But Van der Ven won't go in ahead of what they've got. He might be good at...
Without his injuries, I think everyone would...
I guess what Michael's saying is the margin of difference. Is he that much better than
Yeah, you're not going to spend... He's going to cost 100 million. Yeah. You're not going to spend 100 million to leave a top... what's Van Dijk going to do?
Back a few months ago, everyone was talking about the quadruple for Liverpool. The quadruple. They're going to win 4 trophies. They've ended up winning Premier League, which is magnificent for them. So, you know, we were talking about that. Now, people there are players out there that I think would still improve the best team, add them to that best team at Liverpool, and then they'll go again. Liverpool have won the Premier League now, right? If you're Liverpool Football Club, they've got a really strong squad, without a doubt. Is it something that's going to dictate, like Man City have for the last 5, 6 years? Are they going to go for the next 6 years as dominating English football? That's really where Liverpool should be aiming now. Now, that squad isn't good enough to do that. So, you know, when you're champions and you're in the Champions League next year, if they add those massive... It depends on where the club want to go. Do they want to dominate like they did in the 80s and the 90s at times? Well, particularly in the 80s, again, and do what City have done and leave Arsenal behind, because next year Arsenal improve, City will probably go and improve, and it's going to be do you think Liverpool will win again?
Well, I think you mentioned it, they were very close to everyone who's talking. They could win all 4. They got to, you know, the final of the Carabao Cup. They almost played themselves out against Plymouth. They put all the reserves in, but
that was their choice.
It was their choice, but I don't think it's because their squad is weak, or not strong enough, I should say. And they can improve it in 1 or 2 positions, but you're not getting a better centre-half combination, I don't think. You're not getting a better goalkeeper. You're not getting a better right winger. The midfield is very functional. I mean, where can you improve it? And I do think that they'll invest money, but I think the key to it is invest money where you need to. Don't be wasting 100 million on a backup player.
No,
it's like,
I think their owners have shown they wouldn't do that anyway.
They won't pay that.
Of course, and then in the meantime, there will always be somebody that crops up at some point, and you need to keep your powder dry as well for that scenario. I mean, they might not need an amazing centre-forward or an amazing centre-half in time, but if one crops up, if Virgil van Dijk of 8 years ago crops up again, even if you don't need him, you might just think, right, we need this guy, he is so good. So you've got to bear that in mind as well. But for the immediate here and now, I only think 2 positions. They will spend on 2 positions. They might recruit 1 or 2 others, but only as backup, because they don't need to waste money on, you know, 30 million gets you an average player. Right? Just get a Bosman player. Everyone's desperate.
That's a really interesting point, isn't it? I mean, Joel Matip springs to mind all those years ago.
Absolutely.
On a free. Jonathan Tah is the one that just comes to mind at Leverkusen, German first-choice international, who almost joined Bayern last summer. He's on a free this summer, and you just said the nail on the head. Everyone wants to join Liverpool. So somebody like that would come in and fits it perfectly, wouldn't it?
Use and abuse your badge. Everybody wants to play in that red shirt at the moment. They're the best. I don't care. They're not going to win the Champions League, obviously, this year, but they're probably the best team in Europe. They're probably the best team in the world at the moment. And, OK, they're only going to have the Premier League to show for it. But this team is a winning machine at the moment, and everybody wants to join. So there are 1 or 2 players that you need to spend money on, but there are a lot of players out there that would walk to Liverpool to be in that squad. Utilise that. Have those types of players as your backup, or bring them through the academy, like they have done with, you know, the Curtis Jones. Squad players like Curtis Jones, like, you know, obviously Connor, you know, Bradley is probably going to be in their first 11 now, but Trent before that. So have that coming through the ranks, but... buy, you know, that's 60 on it, 100 million on it, 100 million on another one. You can't just go and do that. You need a little bit of wiggle room. So I think they will prioritise, personally, an attacker, left-back, and they will spend money on those 2 positions. But I think the other positions, I think they will go for cheap options as cover. They, you know, I don't think they need to do anything else.
Yeah. And the point you made right at the start of the show, they're not 1 point ahead of Arsenal. They're 15 here with this group of players. So there's an awful lot of ground for the others to make up here, Glenn.
It was a special, different season.
No, you don't think they're 15 points better?
For City. To lose that amount of games, City would have been up there, in my opinion. But for whatever reasons, we don't know.
But their squad's going to take some surgery this summer.
Well, that's another thing. Yeah, that's their problem. They've got a real big problem in the summer. Yeah, there's going to be some deficiencies there, and they need to go their squad again. And Arsenal need to go again. You know, and I'm just saying, from Liverpool's point of view, they've got a fantastic squad now, and you're right, Michael's right. I've said the same as well. They only probably need 2 players. But if they want to go and dictate like Man City did for the next... I don't see Liverpool... with that squad there, put my head out on the chopping block here. I can't see him winning the Premier League next
season.
No.
Whoa!
No.
Why?
No, I don't.
I can't.
Why?
Because I
Who
don't
can
think
catch
them
them?
players will go again. That squad. I'm talking about that squad
15
now.
points clear.
If it's the same squad as that there, I don't see yet your Joneses and your Elliots ready to take over when they're going to have to play big roles next year. They might get some injuries. They had some injuries, but they coped with the injuries because they weren't in one unit, and it wasn't really the spine of the team. Now, if you get that there at Liverpool, then that would be deficient for them. I don't see them having that sort of season again. They will have to deal, every squad has to deal with injuries, but when you get them in the same unit, all at the back or all in midfield, or your striker or Salah was going out and he was only playing half a season, then I think Liverpool will have a problem.
They've still missed Alisson for long parts. Trent, Jota, Diaz was out injured.
Has Trent really been the spine of the team? No. Fantastic player, as we analysed him before the game. I wouldn't call him in the spine because he's left out at certain games. No, I think Van Dijk, yeah, the goalkeeper, and Salah. You know, McAllister's been brilliant. Now, McAllister's got to go again. If he was to get injured, I think they still need better players in that squad. And now's the time to go and get them. That's what I'm saying.
Chelsea showed respect before the whistle, lining up for the guard of honour. But once the game kicked off, all that respect vanished. It took just 3 minutes for Enzo Fernández to give Chelsea the lead. Pedro Neto whipped in a beauty from the right, and Fernandes timed his run to perfection, slotting home coolly past Alisson. An early warning that Chelsea were here with purpose. Into the second half, Cole Palmer decided it was time to shake off his scoring slump, even if he didn't get credit for the second goal. His darting run through the Liverpool defence caused panic. Virgil van Dijk, under pressure, blasted his clearance right into Jarrell Quansah, sending the ball ricocheting into Liverpool's net. Own goal. Stamford Bridge erupted. It was 2-0 and Chelsea were flying. To be fair to Liverpool, they had their moments. Darwin Núñez and Mohamed Salah both had golden chances to pull one back, but neither could find the finish. The travelling Liverpool fans, fresh off celebrating their club's 20th league title, weren't treated to the kind of clinical edge they're used to. Palmer, still hunting for a goal of his own, came agonizingly close, turning Alisson inside out only to see his tight-angle strike bounce off the post. But his moment came deep in stoppage time. Quansah fouled Caicedo in the box, and Palmer stepped up with ice in his veins. Calm, confident, clinical. 3-1 Chelsea. The goal not only sealed the win, it ended an 18-match scoring drought for Palmer, reminding everyone just how crucial he is to Maresca's setup. Liverpool boss Arne Slot made 6 changes from the title-clinching squad, and it showed. The Reds were flat for long stretches, lacking their trademark intensity until it was too late. Chelsea, on the other hand, were sharp, disciplined, and driven. This win puts them level on points with 4th-placed Newcastle, with a huge clash between the two coming up next weekend at St James Park. Chelsea are peaking at the perfect time, and with Cole Palmer back on the score sheet, the top 4 race is wide open. Do you think the Blues will finish in the Champions League spots? And did Liverpool take their foot off the gas a little too soon? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a moment from the Premier League and Champions League. This is Sport Lab, where football never sleeps. See you in the next one.